Hi, this is Aubrey Chauke. I'm a tutor for accounting, business studies, EMS, as well as research. If you're watching this, you are definitely at the right place. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your bottom right. And once you're done with that, you can definitely make sure that you leave your comments on the comment section. Also, kindly consider asking your friends to watch this video, to like it, to leave their comments on the comment section, and to also subscribe to our YouTube channel. With that out of the way, let's get into the announcements. If you're in Hammerscroll, I'm pleased to let you know that we have got contact lessons that are taking place on a weekly basis at Tutor Daycare Center next to Bawatlo Primary School, and all you have to do to become part of us is to pay a once-off registration fee of 100 Rand and monthly fees of 250 per subject. So this means that if you'll be taking 2 subjects in your first month, you'll be expected to pay 100 Rand of registration plus the 500 of 2 subjects that you would have chosen. Okay, if you want me to become your online tutor, I'm pleased to let you know that ACHAUKETUTORIALS has got some online lessons that are taking place on a weekly basis, and all you have to do to become part of us is to choose your favorite subscription, pay for that particular subscription, and become part of us. For online lessons, we have got 3 packages that are available. On package number 1, it's only $350 and you get 2 online lessons that are live and recorded as they occur. Package number 2 is only $250 and you get 1 online lesson plus 1 pre-recorded lesson per week. Okay, on package number 3, it's only $150 and you only get 1 online lesson that is recorded as it occurs. Okay, if you can't afford this, I'm pleased to let you know that we have got also contact lessons that are taking place. For contact lessons, unfortunately, we only have 2 packages. Package number 1, it's only $450 and you get 2 contact lessons per week. For you. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the top 10 study techniques that you can be able to use to prepare for your examinations. So I hope that this discussion will make a difference in your life and help you to prepare in a much better and improved way for your examinations. I'm going to be very short, so I'll just be talking briefly on the study techniques that I believe you should be able to follow to do well in your examinations. With that out of the way, let's get straight into the discussion. Tip number 1 is that you should give yourself enough time to study. Most learners do the mistakes of waiting for last minute. They want to start studying only when they are about to write examinations, which is very bad. And sometimes if you look at the notional hours that you are required to be able to understand content for a particular course, you will realize that it's a lot, it's too much. It would require you to at least study on a weekly basis while you are still learning the content at school. And unfortunately, most learners, what they do, they wait for last minute. They want to start studying a week before the examination start, or that time when they have just been given the examination timetable. And this is one of the reasons that end up resulting in learners not being able to do well. Some learners fail not because they don't know how to study, but rather because they don't spend enough time studying. They study during last minutes. They study when is the time they should be revising. They'll be wanting to start to study at a time where they should only be doing revision. There's a difference between revising and studying. So you want to make sure that you study while you still have time. You want to make sure that you study at the beginning of the year when you are still attending your classes, so that you can be able to see some of the things that you are struggling with and also be able to seek help when you still have time. The second thing is that you must make sure that you organize your study place. I mean, imagine studying in a messy place, in a place that is very dirty. Automatically your brain is not in a mood to be able to study. You don't have the energy to study. The environment is very depressing. Sometimes you feel very tired. Why? Because your study environment is not organized. So you want to make sure that you organize your study place in a way that it becomes neat and attractive for you to study. Okay, tip number 3 is that you must make sure that you use flowcharts and diagrams. The use of flowcharts and diagrams makes things to be very easy for you. It helps you to be able to plan how you're going to study content. Like for example, if I'm studying on forms of ownerships, I will be able to draw a diagram and to illustrate that in this topic I should be able to cover the advantages of all the different forms of ownership, you know, the disadvantages, the requirements for that particular form of ownership, and so forth. So the use of flowcharts and diagrams will help me to be able to organize my work, to be able to know what exactly do I need to study, where exactly should I focus on this theory content that I'm given. And I believe that flowcharts somehow give you direction. You know exactly where are you supposed to focus and where are you not supposed to focus. Okay, so this will also help you to be able to save time. Like for instance, think about it in this way: when we write essays, most of the time we are asked to use a diagram or use flowcharts. Why? Because this will help us to arrange our essays. We will know the sequence in which our essays will be written, and this will help us to organize our writing. So you want to make sure that you borrow that diagram technique and apply it in your studies so that you can be able to do well. Okay. Another tip that most examiners advise learners to use is to practice using old papers. When you practice using old papers, you have an added advantage. You know the kind of questions that you should expect. You know how this examiner said. It gives you also the the confidence to approach your exam. You don't approach your exam with fear, unlike someone who has never practiced using an old question paper. And sometimes you can be very lucky. Examiners tend to repeat questions, or they can even set a similar question that you can be able to answer using the knowledge that you have obtained from the past question papers that you have used. I remember when I was doing statistics, one of the professors who taught me always encouraged us to use past question papers, and I did that with my friends. And as we did that, one day when we were writing our final statistics examination paper, I realized that one of the questions that we were writing was actually from the work that we did in class. It was something that we were given as a homework from a past question paper, and only few people actually completed that activity. And so to me, that was an advantage. Why? Because I did that particular work that we were given. I had an opportunity to discuss with my lecturer, and I was able to learn from my mistakes. And when examination time came, I was able to conquer with that. Why? Because I used all papers to prepare for my examination. So you want to make sure that you also take advantage of that. So kindly, please, I beg you in the name of God to please try and study, prepare for your examination using past papers. That's one of the best examination tips I can give you. Okay, let's look at also another tip. You also need to make sure that you explain your answers to others. When you are given a particular equation to solve, and you get a particular answer, you need to make sure that you discuss with your friends. Tell them, explain to them how you managed to get that particular answer that you would have gotten, so that you can be able to get a chance to be corrected if you are wrong. And also sometimes when you discuss things with your friends, you are able to gain more understanding, because there will be more emphasis in terms of the process of how that particular answer you'd have gotten was obtained. Okay, so this will also help you to be able to understand much more better and become knowledgeable in that particular area. Okay, and then the other tip that I want to share with you is that you must organize study groups with friends. Sometimes, studying on your own can be very discouraging. You do an equation, it shows you flames, and you want to give up. But when you have your friends, when you have people who you are studying with, you are able to approach things in a different way. If you are struggling in a particular area, there's a possibility that there might be someone who is actually excellent in that area, and this gives you an opportunity for that particular person to teach you how they approach that area, and also you're able to learn from them. Sometimes it's not that we don't understand, but it's just that we need to hear that particular matter, that particular fact from a different perspective. So when you study in groups, you are able to learn at a much quicker pace. I remember when we were also studying at university, what we were doing is that we will divide chapters amongst ourselves. We would say so and so will do this part, and then we do our chapters, and then we come together, during those assignments that we were given, and then we will discuss how we actually gotten the answers, how we actually did that particular work that we were given. And then at the end of the day, you are able to learn much more content within a short period of time. Another thing that you must also make sure that you take into consideration when you prepare for your examinations is that you must take regular breaks. You cannot want to study wire, or when you just study, you don't stop, you don't get tired. No, you must take regular breaks. Breaks are very necessary. Take a walk, go outside, walk for 5 minutes, and then come back refreshed and continue with your studies. So you want to make sure that you also normalize taking regular breaks in your studies. And one of the tips that I like, is that when they say that you need to eat food that will boost the brain. So you need to eat the kind of food that will make your brain to be very active. Okay, so this is one of the tips that you want to make sure that you keep in your heart. Make sure that you eat food that will stimulate your brain. Things like your nuts, things like your seeds, things like your yogurts and so forth. They are good for the brain. They keep the brain to work at a much faster pace, unlike when you've eaten fat food. Okay, so you want to make sure that during those time, or that time when you go and write your exam, you eat food that will make your brain to work at a much faster pace. Okay, I'm encouraging you guys to make sure that you have things like your nuts, your seeds, or yogurt for that particular examination period, so that you can be able to study in a much more easy and enjoyable way. And the last two tips is that one of the things that you need to make sure that you do is to plan for your exam day. Plan how you are exactly going to approach that exam day. From the time you wake up, how are you going to perform in that particular day? What time are you going to bath? What type of transport are you going to use to go to school? What time do you think you're going to arrive at school? So you want to make sure that you plan your exam day so that you can be able to succeed. Like, for example, you can also plan for how you are actually going to approach questions in your exam. You can plan to say, I'm going to start with a question that has got this topic because I'm good in this. I'm going to start with this particular question, make sure that I answer it first, I give it my all, and then from there, once I'm done, I go to the other questions. One of the things that I like about examinations in the modern days is that you don't have to start with question 1. You can actually start with the last question, and all you have to do is to write the sequence on your answer sheet in terms of how you would have attempted your examination questions. So you want to make sure that while you are planning for your examination day, you also plan how you are going to approach your examination paper. Plan in terms of the questions. How are you going to answer them? Which questions are you going to start with, and which questions are you also going to end with? Okay, with that out of the way, let's also talk about it as very most important tip. Drink plenty of water. You must be, tshwanetse e le gore o motho o nwa metsi mo mmeleng man. Batho ba bantsi ba na le go nna le gape ke nka score go nyoriwa, dehydration, something like that. I can't remember that word, but o kry le gore ba dehydrated. Motho ha ana metsi mo systeming. Ha o sa nwe metsi, your brain cannot function properly. You're gonna experience things like headaches when you think a lot. Migraine. Why? Because your blood cannot flow, But while you are drinking plenty of water, you want to make sure that on your examination day, you avoid drinking plenty of water. If you are writing at 8, I will advise you to maybe drink plenty of water around 5:30 so that water can get out of the system, in 1 hour 30 minutes or so that you avoid going too much to the toilet during that particular examination day. When you drink plenty of water, make sure that you are drinking plenty of water when you are just preparing for your exams, not on the day of the exam, because if you do that, it will be destructive to you. You'll be going to the toilet too much. So we want to make sure that we avoid you going to the toilet too much during the examination day. I really hope that these tips will work for you, and as you prepare for your examinations, please make sure that you apply them, make use of these tips that I'm sharing to you. And with that out of the way, thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please make sure that you subscribe and leave your comments on the comments section. And also, if you want us to help you with your examinations for accounting, business studies, EMS, holla at us. Use the details that will be displayed at the end of this video to get in touch with us. With that out of the way, have a blessed night. God bless you.